Morning, Bookable.
Morning. Morning, morning, morning. Moment high. Rah. 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 I'll react to something. I saw something quite interesting.
Welcome back, Big Sis Bokath, one heart.
Why not? I want to watch this because I want to learn. But Zizzy! We love our Zizzy. Path of Exile, treasure. I got like 3 Chaos Orbs off stream, by the way. I would have gotten probably a Divine Orb, but the freaking...
Hi, Zizaran here with Trash or Treasure. I want to make a item review series, so this will be episode 1.
Shipment got taxed by some corrupt officials. Yes, lots of gore still there. Volume super low.
Incredibly good. So this one again is just life and resist.
That good, guys?
It doesn't have anything craftable on it, which would make it a lot better, like if I had an open prefix, but decent set of gear. What about this one? I very often get linked items, especially when they have a lot of tier 1 prefixes and suffixes. Like, is this a good item? It's got really good life regen, and it has a tier 1 stat, reduced attribute requirement. Reduced attribute requirement is a bit of a dead stat. It's not really useful, and there's nothing really good on this. However, one thing to look out for, and while this is still a bad item, this has a hybrid stat, which is very easy to miss when you're a new player. So I'll hopefully find a gooder example of this. But let's say that this was a boot.
I really wish I had wings like him.
35 fire resist, 35 cold, 30 movement speed, and the same life roll here, right? Well, what's special about this life roll is that you can combine it with an actual life roll. So with this crafted, it would actually be 100 life, and in some of the gear cases you have, this might be very useful. And I have seen several new players just vendor hybrid life rolls, which would have been a really good item. What about this one? It's just a Vermilion ring. It is a good base. It does have the 7% life, and if you hold Alt, you can see that it has item level 85. On rings, I believe the only item level 86 is elemental damage with attacks. So generally, rings are okay at 84. It does have 1 resist and open suffix to craft more resist, but due to the 8 life, it is pretty much a dead item, and we don't really value the mana and evasion. These are incredibly good for multiple reasons. So this glove has cold resist, lightning resist, and it has open suffix, and it also has an open prefix. So that makes it very, very flexible. If you don't need additional resist, you can craft things like damage while leeching, conversion, AoE gems. It depends on what build you're playing. But the prefix has a lot of really good crafts. And if you do need it, we can craft stats, we can craft resists, and we can craft attack speed, suppression, etc. So very flexible. Now,
is he gonna mention why the certain items go BLANG? I hope so. So far, what I get is that I want open suffixes and high life.
now, what about fractured gear? Why is that so expensive, and why is fractured gear good? So these Chimera scale boots, I had them up for 3 divines, and you can see that they have 114 life. Now this is basically a hard-coded stat onto the item, so I can't get rid of this. If I scour it, it'll turn blue, and I can then augment and regal it to make it rare again. And here you see the hybrid life. So now this has like 140 life or whatever. But I can use essences on these, and that life is going to stay no matter what. So particularly like things like suppression is very, very popular because that isn't even tagged. And what do I mean when I say tagged? So you can see here, if I hold Alt, that the life has a tag to the right with life, and the cold and fire resist has the tag elemental, cold, and resistance. So getting the life roll can be guaranteed, getting the cold resist can be guaranteed, but getting suppression is tagless, and those are really tricky to roll, and that's why we see that we want suppression fractured so easily. Because if this was fractured suppression instead, we could use essences like deafening life to guarantee the life, and always keep the suppression on it. And I will in this just be mixing some advanced and some basic gear as well. Now, I don't have any up for sale anymore, but a lot of new players were asking me about one of my chests that were selling for 27 divine orbs. And why on earth was this item selling for 27 divine orbs? Is it because the evasion and energy shield? Is it because of the reflect 17 physical damage? No, it has nothing to do with the stat of the item at all. Base types in Path of Exile can actually be incredibly valuable, even on softcore. Now, there are more base types on softcore, but let's open up the trade site and look a little bit at different base types. So, the armor that we're looking at is a necrotic armor. We'll look on settlers, and it has 27 quality, and it has 100 percentile on the base. So base types now have a implicit that is different. It is no longer like always 700 armor and 200 energy shield, etc. They are a variable, and we can change them.
This is the thing where he's addressing when it goes blong, right? I think
Sacred
so.
Orbs. So let's set base percentile to 100, item level 86, quality to 27, and let's see if there are any. So on softcore right now, there's nobody really selling the actual base types. There are mostly crafted ones or fractured ones already. We could try the same search for a royal plate and see if there are any base types. There are none. So we might have to be a little bit less greedy with the base percentile and do that down. So here we can see that a royal plate copy, 27 on, well, above 86 doesn't matter currently in the game, by the way. Right now, even if something says item level 100, that's not better than 86 because there are no mods higher than 86. We can see a royal plate is 5 divine for just the base type. And this is only on 0% percentile, so you might have to use a lot of sacred orbs to actually get this up. So what made this so valuable and people were buying them for 27 divine on hardcore was, again, it has the 831 and 167 energy.
This is for hardcore, right? Or is it just really good? From what I understand, it's really good because it says item level 26 and its quality is over 20.
Shield, it is 6 linked, and it has the 27 quality, and it's the highest base. And this is basically a change in 325 because instead of being increased quality on the armor, or sorry, evasion and energy shield, it is now more. So it is incredibly powerful. And if you're wondering how to get these, it is just pure RNG. Most filters will give you an alert when a decent item level high quality of one of the good base types will drop.
I'm guessing I have to download a new filter because I am using the old filter.
This is more of a hardcore thing, but early on in softcore as well, high item level bases will sell for a decent amount. So for example, this is an item level 87 cardinal shield, and that is what is used for a spectral shield throw because we want high armor and evasion, and some of the mods don't exist until item level 86. So early on hardcore, these were selling for 50 to 100 chaos just for the plain base. And I'm guessing on softcore, even early, they are like at least 20 to 30 chaos on day one. So base types early on, when you are one of the players a little bit ahead of the curve, these can be really good to look out for. And if you're a new player that aren't finding these, this is generally what you want to craft on, depending on the item, but item level 86 will generally have the highest possible rolls on like weapons, armor, etc. So this might be a usable item early on. It has cold resist, lightning resist, and life regen, and it does have craftable open prefixes, so we could throw life on this. And this would be an okay item, maybe like level 6.
Interesting.
This is a cool thing to mention. Sometimes blue items can be really valuable. So this turquoise amulet has +1 all skill gems. Now, I'm not saying you should identify every blue amulet. Please don't do that. But when you are crafting for something, keep an eye out for other crafts, and this is particularly on amulets, and that is because we have something called imprint. So through bestiary, it is a beast called Crichic Chimeral. We can imprint this, and if I then regal it and I don't hit what I want, or I'm not able to make the amulet that I want, we can basically load the amulet back to this state and try again. So we are never risking losing +1 level of all skill gems. So this is very valuable, and people would pay just for the...
Wait. That's a really good thing, right? Because usually it only says +1 to slotted gems.
base here. Now, what about unique items? I might make an episode going over loads of different unique items, maybe particularly the ones that have rolls, but looking up a unique item is generally pretty safe, but there are some like Venturous Gamble where they have wildly different rolls, where a really good one could be 10 divines and the bad ones could be 3 chaos. Now this is a very good item. This
What are you looking at? Where's his mouse? He's looking at a belt. That's a really good belt, right? It has almost 50 on all resistances and a really high health. What's an Abyssal Socket is for those eyes, right? They give you extra passives?
is very endgame. It has fire, cold, and lightning resist, and it has life. The flask mana recovery is a dead stat for most builds, but it does have an open prefix which we've crafted percentage damage. A Stygian Vise is really good because we can have a searching eye, a ghastly eye, or a murderous eye inside them. So instead of being like 40 life or 35 strength, this instead now goes 34 life, 9% all resist, 14% increased damage over time while holding a shield, and 3% chance to gain phasing, which is obviously a lot better than just a flat 40 life. These are perfectly usable. It does have some dead stats like armor and evasion, doesn't really matter much, but it has cold resist, it has an open suffix, we have movement speed, and we have maximum life. Now this is not an item good.
Oh, and if it's a max roll, it's got that light. Is it like that even if you don't have the... If you haven't pushed the button to show the, like, quality rolls? It shows that color, right?
Enough that I would exalt it because none of the stats are really high enough, but I will try to get some examples on things that I would exalt as well.
Oh wait, that one says 20 out of 20. I guess because it's armor and evasion and he said that's a dead stat. But then this one says 9 out of 9. Yeah, and this one says 35 out of 35. Why is this one lit up? It's crafted.
The number one thing I end up exalting is jewels. So for some builds, this would be a 3-stat jewel, right? You have damage with 1s, spell damage, and spell damage can be converted to 1 damage, and energy shield. So you could exalt this and try to hit int, for example. And very often for a build, you can get a 3-stat jewel for 20 to 50 chaos and throw an exalt on it. And obviously if the exalt hits, those jewels might be worth anywhere between 2 to 5 divines. And jewels is probably the most overwhelming thing for new players because you don't really know what scales your build. I have made some episodes where I show how to search for jewels, etc. for people that find jewels confusing. But jewels, even if they're just 1 or 2 stats, are pretty much always worth it.
Wait, he's doing my build. I think his is slightly different though.
That jewel is always worth it.
Yeah, he's got almost like all the same things as I do. Thank you for the flower. But yeah, he has basically the same stuff I do. Like certain things are switched. Like he didn't go these axes. And he went up here. I'll have to look and see what that is. But yeah, he has like the...
Worth it when it's 1 point. This looks really good. 52 intelligence, 93 cold damage, flat cold damage to spells, and it does have an open prefix that we could craft something. Now, all the suffixes are dead, and we already have most of the good prefixes that we want. There's not really anything interesting we can craft here. The only thing we can do is damage over time, flat fire, which is when attacking, not actually while casting a spell. So sadly, there's not really anything good we can do here. We can do cold as extra chaos, but if this had an open suffix, it would actually be a lot better. Either way, not a super useful weapon outside of early league start, but I figured it was worth mentioning. Now, some of the community managers of old school RuneScape are also PoE degenerates, and they've been asking a lot of things because they're playing PoE on hardcore and they're asking whether items are good or not. So this is actually some items that have been linked by Aiza, and he's been asking, are these good or not? So this is a ring with chaos resist, life, mana, cast speed, lightning damage. All of these are good, but sadly the ring is a little bit bricked because Grant's level 23 flammability skill is a corruption. So it's not really that useful. The other stats on the ring is quite good, and if it was like that, it would probably be like a 10-20C ring if it just had the actual chaos resist. There could have been other corruption that would have been good, like can it be poisoned, can it be ignited, can it be bled, aura effect could have been useful, or all resist. Here's another one. He asked me, are there fire people? There are fire people, but this is damage recoup, chance to ignite, critical multi with fire skills, and attack speed with maces, and you aren't really doing mace fire crit skills. That's not so much a thing. Like, this isn't something people would be using. So no, none of these that really work together. Like, for example, crit, you would be looking for crit multi, crit multiplier, like global crit multiplier, percentage life. With attack speed, you would want like attack
so
speed
many
with maces,
cute animals.
damage with two-handers, and then life. A jewel in general is a lot more appealing when it has life on it. Here is a moonstone ring that is pretty usable. It would be better on another base because most people don't want that implicit. Energy shield as an implicit is not that interesting, but this does have life, high res, and mana regen can be used in a lot of builds, but most people have like alternative things to solve mana, such as Eldritch Battery or a life tap. And most people aren't relying on mana regen to solve it, but this would help for the people that are. Does also have an open prefix to craft something like minus mana cost of skills. Here is a profane wand, and it has 84 spell damage as a prefix, 22 cold damage as a suffix. It has cold resist as a suffix, and lightning damage to spells as a prefix. So this is both a open prefix and open suffix. So this is okay. You could craft percentage cast speed on this. This could be like 10 to 30C, depending on when you find it in the league. Definitely is usable, but it's not something like wow. It's very easy to beat just by using a few woe essences for most builds. Here we have an evasion shield and suppression, really good. Max res, really good. If this was, let's say,
that's 19 to suppress. That's gotta be good. The highest I've seen is like 9. Holy crap! It gets to 44. Just for a second, I was like trying to add them, but I was like, wait, no, this is increasing what it has. So it has 44 base now. Then you can get higher than 77 lightning resist. You can get to 79 with that.
Tier 1 suppression, so 22%, and plus 3 max res or plus 2 all max res, and then 48 lightning, and on a different base, just a pure evasion base. Not as good, but if I had those stats, then it might be worth doing something more expensive, like suffixes cannot be changed and reforge a life, because then you have almost perfect suffixes. Then it's worth risking 2 divine per attempt. But like it is now, this would have to have like 90 or at least 70 plus life to be usable, and even then it's probably not going to be someone's endgame shield, so people aren't going to invest a lot into it. So I want to start doing this item series pretty much every week. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll keep that in mind for the next video. Like, if you want me to like maybe do like a whole episode on synthesized items, fractured items, gloves, boots, I don't know what type of structure you want to the videos, or if you like that I just do a little bit of everything. But either way, give me some idea of what you would like to see for the next video. Either way, I hope it helps. Thanks for watching. Sub if you like it, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.
Yeah, I think I understand the weapons now a little bit more. I think I understand him a little bit more. Not fully, but I kind of understand what he was saying. What is thy wisdom? Animals are pog. You can find the like stuff in map. I hope so.